just some thoughts about what's been happening in the UK, in Ireland, for the past several years, and there's now been the inevitable explosion of chaos and violence. Everybody predicted it, everybody said it was going to happen, and now the inevitable has happened. Now, obviously, our appeal, and everybody on our side's appeal, is for calm, is to take the sting and the heat out of what's happening. We don't want to see our beautiful country torn apart by civil unrest, by riots, and probably even worse. We want this to stop. However, the government, the British government, the Irish government, the Assembly in Northern Ireland, they need to listen to the people's concerns. The British people, the people of the British Isles, Irish, English, Scottish, Welsh, the people of these islands have been settled for over 1,000 years. Yes, we've had our problems, we've had our squabbles, my goodness, we've had our squabbles. But the reality is what's happening in the United Kingdom is different to anything we've ever seen before. And the replacement of the indigenous people of the United Kingdom with predominantly Muslim communities is a recipe for absolute disaster. And to ignore it, to call it far right, to talk about these things is, to say the least, well, I think worrying is an understatement. Keir Starmer, in his statement on, I think it was Thursday morning, was it? Wednesday night, Thursday morning, after the mass arrests of grannies and granddads who were chanting "Save Our Children" outside Downing Street. He ignored them. He sent the boot boys in with the batons, arrested innocent people. And there's been a reaction last night in Sunderland, and it was wrong. It's always wrong to burn buildings down, that you're putting life in danger. It's always wrong to riot. But there's got to be an acknowledgement that this is not happening in a vacuum. To just dismiss all of this as right-wing thuggery is totally wrong. And the reality is that there are people here who can have influence and can do a lot to calm things down if they were given the chance. But the problem is the voice of those people has been taken away. They've been demonised. They've been accused of all sorts of horrendous ideologies that they don't even believe in. They've been called racist, they've been called far right, and that has caused a massive, massive problem. So my appeal to the British government and to Keir Starmer is very simple. Start talking to us. Start talking to the people that have influence. The man who has the most influence over the working class people in the United Kingdom is Tommy Robinson, and he's been ignored. He's been ignored by the media establishment. He's been ignored by the political elite. He's been absolutely persecuted beyond measure by the judiciary. And instead of talking to him and saying, we want to hear what your concerns are and see if we can work something out, he has been demonised. And the reality is that has to stop. And if that stops, it makes a massive difference. If Tommy's brought into negotiations with the government and people say, okay, what is it that the people that you represent want? Instead of just demonising us, instead of just threatening us with arrest, instead of just threatening anybody that speaks out on these issues with arrest, start talking to us. Bring us into the tent. See what we want. See if it's reasonable. See if anything can be done. Because I can guarantee you, if you stopped mass migration and you deported all the illegal people that have come to this country, all the criminal migrants, the ones that have come here illegally, if you deported them immediately and you stopped mass migration immediately and only brought people into the country that we absolutely need, it would go a long way to solving these problems. It would go a long way to putting the British peoples at ease about what's happening and about the way their communities have been destroyed. And of course, this isn't actually just the white English, the white Irish and the white Scottish and the white Welsh. This is the settled West Indian communities, the settled Indian communities, the Hindu communities, the Sikh communities. All of us are feeling threatened by this mass influx of predominantly Muslim men. All of us are feeling threatened by this. So when the government actually wakes up and realises that we're the good guys and that we're the ones that have been trying to keep things peaceful for the past 15, however many years, then maybe we'll get somewhere. But until that happens, there's going to be massive problems in this country. And it's time the government woke up and realised that they are just not reading the room and they're just not listening to what the British people want. See you all soon.